What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Now that the reboot of Mortal Kombat's out, today we're ranking all 4 of the Mortal Kombat films from worst to best. Before we begin, let me know in the comments what your thoughts on the Mortal Kombat movies were. As a reminder, this is just my list and not a definitive ranking. Also, make sure to hit that thumbs up button if you like these reviews, as it helps me out immensely by getting my channel out there. And if you're new here, I hope you consider hitting that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with reviews of new releases, older films, hidden gems, and so much more on a near daily basis. One thing I quickly want to address, this is a ranking of the 2 original live-action movies, the reboot, and the animated Scorpion's Revenge movie from last year. There is another animated movie that I think sometimes gets grouped in with all these, called Mortal Kombat: The Journey Begins. Now, I'm not including it because it served more as a tie-in to the original live-action movie, and it's really more of a short. It's listed as 50 minutes long, but I found out those last 15 minutes are a documentary of the live-action movie, so it's really only 30 to 35 minutes or so. And I didn't bother checking it out or reviewing it. Though, it's on YouTube in full and on the Blu-ray release of the original movie if you want to watch it. But anyway, let's not waste any more time and let's get to the list. In last place, the one that we can all probably agree on is Mortal Kombat: Annihilation, a film that's considered not just one of the worst video game adaptations of all time, but one of the worst movies of all time, period. And yeah, it's down there. This movie's been ripped apart over the years for its terrible graphics, its bad acting, and incoherent plot, which are all valid criticisms. I'm not here trying to say this is better than most people make it out to be. The unfortunate thing is just that when you take a second to look further into it than it just being the internet's punching bag, you actually discover this was made with good intentions, as the filmmakers really did want to give fans of the video games something they can enjoy, similar to the first movie. And this seems to be nothing more than just a very misguided effort, to say the least. Now, I don't know why that happened, as this didn't seem to have a troubled production. The best I can say is that the adaptations of video games were still fairly newer at the time, so maybe they just didn't know how to approach this. I don't know. But either way, while the filmmakers' intentions were good, this does totally miss the mark on nearly every level, unfortunately, and is enjoyable more in a so bad it's good way. In third place is the reboot, 2021's Mortal Kombat, and I can already feel people clicking off this video as I say this, because what problem could I possibly have with a movie that delivers all the bloody violence that the Mortal Kombat fans want, right? Well, to be clear, I don't dislike this movie, and when the film's focused on those fights, it is fun, and there were enough of them that I stayed interested for the entire film. The problem is, we also get a ton of sequences where it's characters standing around, spewing exposition and saying how serious everything is, but it's not all that interesting, and we spend a decent amount of time with them. In particular, our main protagonist, Cole Young, who's just another one of those chosen ones because the prophecy foretold it type of heroes, and it's just so bland and predictable, and anytime these characters were sitting around, I just wanted them to get to the fighting. And the pushback I know I'm going to get is, but what do you expect from a movie like this? My thing is, if you're going to make a movie be about the fun, over-the-top violence, then go all in on that. But if you're making a movie that's supposed to have this story that we're meant to feel the stakes of and take totally seriously, then you need to write that story and these characters better. I am not even asking for anything too deep, just something that comes off as somewhat compelling. You don't even need to get that complex. But outside of a few characters who aren't the main focus of the film, mainly Scorpion, Sub-Zero, and Kano, that's not what we got here. So it makes those moments where it's not centered on the fighting to be nothing I cared about. The good still outweighs the bad because I really did enjoy the fights, but I was hoping to enjoy this a little more. In second place is Mortal Kombat 1995, and again, I'm sure I can feel even more people clicking off this video as I say this. But I honestly had a good time with this. It was a pleasant surprise, as I heard for years this wasn't all that good, and I do get where some of that criticism comes from. But despite the violence in this one being incredibly toned down and not what we should have gotten in a Mortal Kombat movie, the finished product is still a commendable effort, acting more as a loving tribute to the video games and nothing more. And again, it comes down to tone, as this embraces just how silly and fun these kind of movies can be, leaning into its goofy sense of humor and ridiculous line deliveries. It's especially a film that just bleeds the 1990s, mainly when it comes to its music choices, which added nicely to the atmosphere. And despite the violence being toned down, the fight scenes were fun for what they were, and the cast all seemed like they had a blast making it. In particular, Cary Hiroyuki Tagawa as Shang Tsung, and Christopher Lambert as Raiden, who give by far the two campiest performances here. Over the last year or so, this film has been reevaluated as a misunderstood cult classic, and I gotta say, I'm in that same camp. It's by no means an incredible movie, but it's a lot of fun, and honestly, one of the better video game adaptations we've gotten. Though, then again, it's not like there were too many choices in that department. But in first place is Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge, the first in what could potentially be a new animated universe, similar to what Warner Bros. Does for their DC animated films, though that remains to be seen. While this is primarily Scorpion's story, the film does act as a reworked, hard R version of that original 1995 film, following a number of the same beats, though with more characters introduced and this universe expanded upon. And this finds the balance that I think the live-action reboot didn't always find. It sets things up with an emotional opening scene with Scorpion, and then builds upon that story, keeping him mostly front and center, and having an emotional arc to be invested in, while also delivering on the brutal, bloody violence that goes into the fight scenes. While it does devolve into more of a group effort towards the end, becoming less of a Scorpion-centered movie in that third act, everyone still gets their time to shine. And most, not all, but most of these characters are given more of a personality, even if they're not the deepest characters around. So, of all the movies, I feel this gives Mortal Kombat everything they're looking for, brought to life by some stunning animation that honestly would have been great to see on the big screen. I really hope this isn't the last we see of these incarnations of these characters, as this was a lot of fun, and my number one Mortal Kombat movie. And that's my ranking of the Mortal Kombat movies. If you stuck around to the end, thank you for staying with me. I know I'm probably going to get some pushback for how I rank these, but I had to be honest here. And I'm still looking forward to what's going to be done with these new movies. I know we're supposed to get 4 films in this rebooted universe, and as I said in my review of the new film, hopefully the issues that movie had are taken into consideration, and we get something bigger and bolder moving forward. But let me know, what's your ranking of the Mortal Kombat movies? Did you agree with this list at all? Did you disagree? Have you even seen all these movies? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.